thing I've learned, dreamers. It's this. Just when you think you've had it all, seen it all, done it all, there's always
Dick
more.
to shove in your face. Whoa, you can fucking fly.
Like glide around and do cool shit.
Tom Bolivar, what the fuck is all this shit? What's this new game?
So, like, to explain my frustration with this right now, I went to this cool, like, city, and it was sick. And then they're like, go do this mission to prove yourself. I'm like, yeah, cool. So I go do that. And the weird thing with this game is that people can just randomly join your party and then leave. So all of a sudden, 3 other people were with me. I'm like, alright. So we do the mission, and they're like, okay, go back to where you came from. Like, I just ran, like, halfway around the world. And there's no map marker or no map except for that tiny little corner. Tell me where I'm going. But there's dudes everywhere, including flying guys that I can't attack. So I'm just getting constantly fucking assaulted. And I'm just gonna eventually die because I'm gonna run out of ammo. Because I have no idea how to get back to this fucking city. And it just keeps throwing more objectives at me. And it's just like
a mini map or anything?
I do, but it doesn't tell me where to go. It just says return to the city. I'm like, this map is enormous. I have no idea which direction I'm going. So I'm just at the mercy of whatever spawns, including things way beyond my level. Fuck. Just want to go get my reward for doing the mission. Okay, there's just bombs dropping out of the sky. Oh, now I'm fucking dead. Okay. I guess I lost all my progress on that too.
Is it at least gonna spawn you back at the city?
Probably, but I mean, I just failed the mission, so now it doesn't matter. Now I gotta do it again, I guess.
Or do something else. Don't do something that takes you so far away.
I mean, it's the only thing I can do. It's the first thing in the entire area you can do. That was the worst experience of my life. Alright, I'm gonna go back to my ship and change things because my guns are almost suck. How do I do that?
What happened to the picture I downloaded?
Now there's fast travel. I don't know what any of this means. Fisher Hailuk, Old Man Sumbat, Nakak, Konzu, Hulk, Master Treasonai. Purchase weapons. Masks. I don't know about that. I don't have to purchase. I don't know what any of this means.
Others have one price for locals and one for off-worlders. Me? I give you the local price every time.
Retweet? I spelled playing wrong. You want me to retweet on your account too?
Yeah, I guess. I had the, as soon as I got to this area, I was like, oh no, this is a Memorpaga.
Yeah.
Because before we were just like go on a mission and shoot shit. I'm like, I can get down with this. Simple, easy to digest. Now it's just like, you're in a huge world now.
How is it that,
more?
like, Twitch can have like an age approval button on the fucking dashboard of the stream? It's like, I know it's not approved for all audiences. It's my stream. Very strange.
Because they suck. That's my story.
Copex Digiboy says no Pokemon podcast SMH. Yeah, we were.
I've been dying.
I did acid and forgot. That's my excuse.
Not a great excuse, but I'll take it.
Muck Norris says, "What up, fam? I'm loving the fuck out of Nier Automata. It's so games." Also, Samuel the 16th subscribed with Twitch Prime.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Now we're playing Warframe, and I can't do big games like this. It's just too much. Too boomer.
There's not really much to say about the acid trip. It was just like me and Zen fucking did some drugs and listened to a bunch of cool music. We had a cultural exchange, had the usual conversation that you have about tautology and how everything's the same.
Forge Azal. I have no fucking idea what Azal is.
I guess it's that thing he's holding.
Guess.
It's like a saw, but also
Any of this means
just a sword.
Azal strike used for machete and polearm style weapons. Dagger and staff. Rapier and polearm. Scythe would be cool.
Yes, man, I will do Gen 8 design ratings once all of them come out. We were thinking about doing one for just the starters. I don't know how long I mean, we could probably still do it. Like, whenever something comes out and it's hyper relevant, I'm always worried that, like, oh, I already missed the window and anybody would care. But honestly, I think that people will just go on caring about this one, so... But at the same time, I don't know if it's worth it to do it now or just wait till there's more designs out. Shield Hero Weekly is not cancelled. Why does everybody assume this? Why am I just now getting asked about it? This game is Anthem's marketing budget is promoting. This is the game Anthem's marketing budget is promoting.
Pretty much.
Why?
Because Anthem's just this game, but more expensive and worse.
So basically, it's just driving people to play this instead.
Yeah, because it's like, well, why not just play Warframe?
Yeah.
A light Zaw strike for Scythe heavyweight.
CM398 subscribed for 6 months in a row. Says 6 months, baby. If there's anyone in this stream who's interested in visual novels, I'm going to use this opportunity to recommend Wonderful Everyday Discontinuous Existence. Sounds like a thing.
Well, if they let me put that whole thing together, and they're like, you don't have enough parts, so now I hate this game.
Muck Norris says he got prescribed hydrocodone because of shoulder surgery and can't work or work out for 2 weeks. Tom's got a upcoming injection to possibly help with his bullshit.
I got my MRI looked at today, and I have one herniated disc and one bulged disc in my spine.
So they're two different problems. Do they have any theory on what caused it?
No, they did not bother saying anything like that. So I have to go on Monday, get a spinal injection. They're going to inject a steroid directly into the affected area to reduce inflammation and hopefully make me not die. Because no one can see it, but is the camera even on?
Looks like it. I can see us.
They gave me a cane because I can't walk. This is the start of my V cosplay.
Yeah.
I just need a Bible and start quoting weird, gay, edgy, hot topic shit. And I'll be halfway there.
Living on a prayer. Was that your dad who came over to help you unearth your car?
Yeah.
I gotta tell him thank you for me for the for uncovering the driveway. Not the driveway, the stairs.
Yeah.
What a badass. Did he come all the way here just to do that?
Yeah, despite my protests.
He was just like, let me help you undig your car.
Yeah.
You would not have been able to do it, so...
No, I couldn't even walk out there to like say thank you because I was so crippled last night.
Yeah, just like we woke up and I looked outside and saw you and someone else unearthing the car, because May saw it first and she was like, there's someone out there, and I'm like, what do you mean? And I looked and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's his dad.
Yeah. You guys were sleeping when you first got here, so
yeah.
I guess this is just gonna happen, and hopefully the police won't be called.
I ended up having to dig my car out today. We are under fucking, for the audience here, we're under fucking like 3 feet of snow. Like
2 feet of snow. It's 3 feet once they've, because like it looks like 3 feet because everywhere you can still see the snow pretty much is where it's been plowed. So all
yeah,
the stuff
I mean, it's definitely up to my knees.
It's a fucking lot
through it. Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous, and I think it's the worst one I've experienced, because in spite of the fact that it snows, I mean, it snows this badly in Rochester pretty regularly, but, like, I don't think there was a day while I was there that got this bad. It was fucking terrifying, because, like, I didn't know it was going to snow, and, like, our previous snow had just melted when this one came, and I just look out the door, and I see that my car is, like, almost invisible. And I was like, oh my god! What's happening? Not cool. Boston is the worst.
Look at this guy's face. It's horrifying. Well, they just put a picture up there.
This
But
looks like dick.
Yeah, it's really bad. The model looks just like that. Okay, I don't care about any of this. See, what was nice about Warframe in the beginning was just click on a button, go there, shoot some dudes. I guess I could still do that. I would just have to leave this area. But I'm Orange Deadpool. I want to kill things.
Cursed Crystal says this game is not good.
Gunplay is kind of satisfying. The problem is I bought new guns, and instead of my handgun, I got some kunai, and instead of my rifle, I have a shotgun. The shotgun only has like 5 shots, and the kunai have way too long of travel, so they suck, and I don't like them. You can only change your weapons on your ship, and I don't know where my ship is because I'm in a fucking crazy city. Look at this guy. John Bill 14. Hawks of the Nightmare.
Pretty cool guy. Yeah. Copex Digiboy asks, how did I feel when I got those Kona grill cars? Did you know about this?
No, what's going on?
You know how I always tell that story about the Kona grill flatbreads?
Yeah.
Well, Kona grill finally noticed, and they
way.
sent me 2 $25 gift cards for Kona grill.
Whoa, sick.
Yeah, they hit me up on Twitter and were like, hey, we heard about your fucking videos. We want to send you something. And it's really funny because they sent it with a note that was basically like, hey, you know, with these you could get more of those flatbreads. Or, you know, try something else. We do have other food. Because I haven't eaten anything there except for the flatbread.
Damn.
I got it the first time we went there, and, like, the only Kona grill I know of is the one in fucking Baltimore. And I know there's one in, like a mall in Austin, Texas, because I saw it in the background of a Casey Neistat vlog once. But there's only like 12 of them in the country. So, you know, I don't know when I'm going to find the chance to use these gift cards, but if I happen to pass through Baltimore, I might, if we end up moving to Virginia Beach, I might try to pass through Baltimore and go to Kona Grill all the way down.
Just another reason to go to BronyCon.
Yeah.
Sounds like to me.
Oh no, you're right. Is it still there? Is it still at the convention center?
I believe so.
Oh boy, that would be fucking funny if I went to BronyCon just to go to Kona Grill.
Make a whole video about it. It's like, so what'd you end up getting? I got the flatbreads.
I mean, if I do move to Virginia Beach, it would not be nearly as difficult of a travel, because it'd just be a 4-hour drive like it used to be.
True. Fucking
take a plane or
God.
anything.
Equipment. Can I just change my equipment now?
But yeah, as for how it felt, it was pretty satisfying, because, like,
Thank fucking God.
I and others have made the joke many times that I should be getting paid by Kona Grill for all the promotion, because a ton of people have gone and eaten that flatbread because of me. Because, like, a lot of my audience goes to conventions at that convention center, so, like, they inevitably see Kona Grill and they gotta try the fucking flatbread that I won't shut up about. And I've never gotten a negative reaction to it. Like, everybody who's tried it has told me it was fucking great. So I've gotten sent at least like 10 or 15 pictures of fucking flatbreads that people have gotten there. So I definitely have made them more than $50. So I'm happy to receive at least some compensation.
Excellent.
One more off the docket. Hop two.
Digi, are you thinking you will vote in 2020? Not likely.
Whispered about some sort.
You want to vote for Bernie?
I was planning to make a t-shirt that says voting is for cowards and see if I get killed.
Do it. Look at, I just started a mission. Charles Redman has joined your squad. Jake Reality joined squad. I don't want any of these fucking people.
Psycho1717 says, I'm a med student if you have any questions. I guess about your herniated disc.
A lot of people are telling me to just go see a fucking chiropractor. But the doctor said that will not work.
Why would a chiropractor help? First of all, I've always heard that chiropractors are fake.
I've heard that too. Because I listened to that one Joe Rogan podcast. No.
Dick Masterson's also talked about it.
But, yeah, everyone and their mom was like, go see a chiropractor, you retard. I'm like, that seems scary.
Why would you see that instead of a doctor? How can they not help you with the same fucking thing?
Because the doctor is going to inject my spine. The chiropractor would adjust the spine. So.
The injection sounds more useful to me. It sounds like a more promising prospect.
Well, the problem with a herniated disc and a, oh my god, finally I have bullets. I can actually kill things effectively again. The thing with the discs is that they're just, like, not in the right location. Like, that's the thing. Like, one's slipped one way, one's the other way. So they're, like, putting this inflammation shit, injecting it into the spine to, like, fill the empty spaces or whatever and let it get absorbed and have it reset.
Mm-hmm.
Chiropractor just adjusts the discs and pushes them back where they're supposed to go. So my dad had herniated discs a bunch of times. And they just, like, put him on a fucking, like, stretcher thing and, like, stretched him out. And he got a couple inches taller for a few days.
It sounds like you are making the argument that you should see a chiropractor instead. So why didn't you?
I don't know. Because I still think chiropractors are fucking bullshit and it skeeves me out. But from pure... You don't... I was telling the fucking lady who was booking my appointment, she's like, oh, you're gonna get everything fixed and it'll be fine. I have no idea what's going on with the game right now. Like, I'm randomly flashing different colors and there's an alarm.
I assume you can't go in the water?
No, you can't go in the water. But I don't think that has anything to do with what's going on right now. There's a thing, I guess I can shoot this all the fucking way over there.
It's dropping a bunch of dudes. It looks like it's a drop ship.
I've played Halo, I know how it works.
Capex Digiboy says, Tom, please live. Holy shit.
I'm trying, dude. But, oh my god, there's just dudes everywhere. I can't. Why am I died. I doesn't. The hit fucking.
Loveshorn says, my dad had that but higher up his spine, so it affected his neck instead. I hope it works out for you, Tom.
That sounds way. Oh, yeah, that sounds way worse.
By the way, Tom, did they fuck you too much on the medical bill?
I've been lucky because I have mass health. Basically, because I'm so fucking poor and have refused to conform to society, it saved me from going bankrupt. Because I've paid only $25 for everything I've done so far, and that was for the MRI. Everything else has been 100% free. So, I'm on mass health. It's poor person healthcare. Oh my god, I hate... This is just so much fucking shit. Like, what is going on right now? I don't even understand. I don't even know how I got involved in this conflict. I just started coming out here and then this just happened.
Hey Digi, can you explain where lives Tom? Is he always on your house? Yes. Tom sleeps on this couch a lot of the time because it's cold as shit elsewhere. And this room has a heater in it. But otherwise he sleeps in a room that is directly behind the camera.
Yep.
It's just like a little front room that we had no purpose for, so I was just like, hey Tom, set up your shit in here. I'm amazed it even has enough outlets that you can fucking effectively have an office in there, since most of the house is shit outlets.
Well, it just so happens that that room is not hooked up to everything else for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So I'm immune from the bullshit. Look at that guy. think that's a bad guy. I can't tell. I can't tell what's going on.
What is this crazy kooky area you're in? What planet is this?
Dude, this is Earth, apparently. This is Cetus, a Tenno-controlled city on Earth. And I just was like, oh, I'll check this place out. And the game has descended into madness that I can no longer comprehend. Before it was like, you're in a ship, and you go to a place, and you kill some dudes, and then the mission over, and you immediately go back to your ship. I'm like, this is simple.
So were you just in like a really long tutorial or something? Like,
what
made it suddenly become a Memorpager?
Well,
like
the thing is, I could, if I can find my ship, I can leave this city and exit the Memorpager and go back to the simple ship.
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't this game? I thought this was like just an arena shooter game. Like, I thought it was just a.
I haven't fought a single human the entire time I've played this game so far. I think it's PvE. Like, that's why everyone's comparing it to Anthem. But you know what sucks real fucking bad? It's one of those pay-to-win games. So it's free, but like, it's a looter shooter, but I've gotten no loot so far. I've gotten 2 guns, and I've played for like 15 hours.
Damn, you've played this that much? I didn't even realize.
And like, the
way you were talking about it made it sound like you were just in a tutorial. Like,
I mean, I was, but the tutorial was an entire huge quest line you had to do that had like really...
That's fucking insanity.
Poorly designed enemies. Like, all the character design in this game is like the most horrifying, ugly thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, nothing looks cool except for me. But like, I picked a lot of like really basic bitch weapons, like a handgun and a machine gun and a sword, for simplicity's sake. But there's a really cool guy called a Volt that like uses electricity attacks and stuff. And I want to use that, but I just can't because it's so expensive to like buy anything. I had to use all my money to buy this fucking gun.
I haven't heard the new episode of The Dick Show, but it sounds like somebody has challenged me to a fight and said they'd give me $1,000.
Again?
Well, this time there's money being offered, but like...
I'm surprised somebody else wants to
I don't have any desire to fight anybody for money or for no money. Like...
Who is this
I'm
person?
not gonna fly somewhere to fight somebody.
I don't know. Maybe I do.
I don't get it. Like...
I don't know if this is what I'm supposed to do, but I'm shooting it.
I understand why, like, the idea of, like, fighting people at random is a thing in the Dick Show fan base because it happened between War of the Fanboys and Asterios, but that shit was retarded. And there's no way I'm gonna do some dumb, retarded shit like that. Like, why would I fight somebody? Like, why would it ever be in my best interest?
I guess we won? What? What is... I guess this had nothing to do with anything. I guess it was just there.
I don't comprehend this game at all.
I'm dead again. like I haven't... It doesn't even feel like I'm getting hit. I just all of a sudden am dead.
Digi, can you say you fell hard for the Boston meme? Do you regret the whole experience? I don't regret it because I am a person who tends to have a very grass is greener kind of mentality towards a lot of things. So it's very valuable to have seen the other side. Like, if I never lived in the big city, I would always be thinking about, like, what it would be like to live there and just, like, making assumptions about it and... you know, hoping to get somewhere better. But now that I've been, you know, now that I've lived in the big city and I've compared it to other cities and stuff and I know what it's like, I don't feel any need to do that again, you know? So, like, it's good to have had the experience and to learn about, like, you know, first of all, learning what it's like to live with a higher overhead cost, learning what it's like to... you know, what happens if you do fuck up and fail and make the wrong choice, you know, like, it's a good way to know what not to do in the future. So I would say the learning experience made it worth it, but, you know, at the current moment, it's just like, God, I wish I didn't fucking live in Boston.
Oh my God, I can't do it. This sucks. This sucks ass. It's weird, all the enemies... What? These guys are so much higher level than me, I just can't even do damage to them.
A lot of people in the chat seem to be confused about this being Warframe as well. People are like, this is not what I remember this game being when I played it.
Well, I guess we're everyone else is all the way over here, apparently.
Tom, you can change your loadout in the equipment tab.
I did do that. I did figure that out. I just want to not play this character I chose because he sucks. He's boring. But,
do you ever think about doing a finish or fail top list for every year? It would be great for showing people old and obscure stuff and helping people with similar taste to you. That is, that would be my ultimate dream and has always been the plan. However, finish or fail is the most time-consuming thing in the whole world. So it just has never been feasible. Like, I wanted to do a top list for every year, but I skipped 2015 and 2017 because it just took too long. I didn't have time to watch all the shows while still doing anything else with my life. And, it's like, if you're keeping up with current shows, then you can talk about something relevant and get a lot of views. If you're trying to catch up to a year that's already passed you by, then it's like you're not as likely to do full reviews of the shows from that year because they're not relevant anymore. So it's just watching fuckloads of anime in service of a top list, which is, A, my lists don't get that many views anyways compared to like what you'd expect. Like, people think of it as, oh, free, easy views, but it's like, that's only true if you do it right at the moment when the iron is hot, and you can't do that if you're trying to actually watch everything.
oh god, what is happening? Why did this video game is
Quatchly is Quatchel is here.
I'm not crazy, right? Like, this is the most incomprehensible thing ever made by humans.
Yeah, I mean, when I put out the tweet, I said we're playing Warframe for now, but we'll probably switch up to some other PS4 shit because I had a feeling this was going to get.
What is happening? What?
Uh,
Whoa.
Someone wants to know if you're planning to go wherever I end up going.
I guess it really depends where you go and what our plans would be once we're there.
Yeah.
It's all still a big question for now.
I'm sure that there are a lot of factors at play, like if you get your back fixed by then.
Yeah, I mean...
Because you wouldn't have free health insurance if you moved, you know.
Right, I would become bankrupt instantly. Yeah, jump. Cool. This looks cooler than it actually is. I'm just gonna go to the waypoint. There's also an intact sentient core. Oh boy! What does it all mean? I'm just gonna go to intact sentient core. Man, coming to this area was a mistake. Could have gone to fucking Venus.
A lot of people are from the chiropractic discussion. That's how far back I am in the chat right now.
Oh, Jesus
are saying that it is in fact fake. One guy says, "Do not fall for the put the disc back into place bullshit." Not that we necessarily think our chat is more informed than we are, just out of hand, but it does seem like they are on the same page as us.
For better or worse, they agree with what we think. The problem is, my two biggest phobias in the world have to do with, like, being organic. So, like, needles, giant fucking needles, surgeries, all that shit freaks me the fuck out.
Oh, yeah. I mean...
So, like, that's what you gotta do.
I can't stand needles, but at least it's going into your back, so you won't have to see it.
I was like, can I, like, be not awake for this? Like, no, you have to be. I'm like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, I mean, like...
I'm probably just gonna get super fucking
The
baked
thing about getting
before I go.
injected is that it doesn't necessarily hurt so much. It's the seeing it that's the worst part. So if it's going into your back, it might not be so bad.
It's not even the seeing it for me that's the problem. The problem is just knowing it's happening, and my brain
Yeah.
makes it 10 million times worse.
I'm desperately afraid of needles, so I've always had a huge problem with that.
So,
I kind of got used to it from having so many fucking fillings and having to have shit injected into my face so many times.
I've gotten a couple fillings, but because I hate needles so much, I've been like, just don't even numb me up. So I've felt it.
What?
Yeah.
You got a filling without being numb? Doesn't that hurt like a fuck?
Yeah.
That's insanity.
So I've done it like 4 times.
That is total insanity. I've had like 30 fillings, so I would not want to experience that.
It's pretty fun feeling a drill rip away your fucking bone.
Jesus Christ.
But
that's
like that is
insane.
better to me than the fucking injection.
No, that's. I thought I was terrified of needles, but you've one-upped me, sir.
It's like I've told the doctor soon to like draw blood and shit. I'm like, I'd be more comfortable if you took a knife, cut my arm than using a needle. I would be more chill with that. Oh, I found how to get all the way back to where I started. This is where we started the mission. But the mission I think is still going on, even though it said bounty fin. I don't fucking care. I'm leaving. I'm going off world. Waiting for players. I can't. Oh god, I can't end the mission until everyone else comes here.
Selhar says Tom does fit the stereotype of underground artist dies and becomes a historical reference 5 years later.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of always what I figured. Like, if I ever get some success, it will be post-mortem because that's just my life. See, this is why I have to believe in free will, Digi. Because if I believe that you do, that everything is just fated, it means I was fated to, like, immediately upon starting to go to the gym and eating healthy and becoming a good person, fate itself said, no, can't have that, break him. So, I have to believe that there is, like, some sort of, like,
I mean, when you talk about it like fate, it sounds really gay. Like, I don't think about fate. Like...
Well, I mean, I don't even mean, like, there's some entity or whatever directing it. I'm just saying, like, it was meant to be that I had to immediately become fucking crippled upon making a huge positive personal change.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's easy to think that when you're making $1 billion on Patreon, but when you're fucking in the dirt and you're just like, this was meant to be.
It's not that, I mean...
in the dirt.
Well, like, you're looking at it as too much of, like, this as the end point. It's like, I'm in the dirt now,
sure.
But, you know...
There's always upward momentum. Hopefully. But,
I mean, I don't think about things being predetermined ever. Like, it's not something I consider except in a discussion about whether or not there is free will or determinism. But it makes no difference in how I think or live my life, whether I believe one or the other.
I just want to hang out with my buddies, but they keep moving in places I can't follow. Is there anybody getting whiplash yet from just watching me do all these
Tommaso Choco Taco says the meat of this game is the missions you do from your ship. You should leave and go do those.
Alright, that's what I was having fun with. This is all really gay.
Sandalwood Arcade says, Tom, chiropractors can adjust your spine. The problem is that your back muscles that pulled them out of place, and they can do it again. You should see a chiropractor, then get a professional back massage right afterwards. You should try it because spinal injections, while worth it, are very painful. Well, if it's worth it, then fuck it.
Everything you just said made me more sad. I was assuming it wouldn't be painful. I was assuming it would suck. But they're like, they'll numb it up first.
I think my dad recently had to have the same thing done to him, and it was very painful.
Well...
And remained painful for days.
Great. It's a good thing I got weed then.
Yeah. I mean, the weed will help for sure.
I can't even get past the fucking... I hate everything.
Do you actually even have weed?
I do.
What an amazing... Have you actually, like, have you just been buying it from people in New York? Figured. I was like, I know you didn't drive to a dispensary, like...
I'm trying to get my green card from this.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's like, a better way to do it.
It's the only...
They have more options.
The problem is that, like, you gotta, like, go to a specialist and go through a consultation and all this shit. And I'm just like, ugh. Last thing I want to do is go somewhere. That's why I wanted in the first place.
Apparently you can get back to your ship with the menu.
Seriously?
Yeah.
What are we shooting? Are we just killing this thing?
And you would have known this, like, 30 minutes ago if I wasn't taking so goddamn long to chat.
Well, now we're I don't know.
Oh, so somebody says that he thinks the people in the game are probably using voice chat.
Maybe.
Tom, just leave the mission and then leave the planet.
Is there a way that I can turn off people joining my party? Because I want to just solo this shit. I want to deal with humans. What is?
Open the map, look for Cetus, and head there to leave this area. This place is not worth it for new players. Better to play the main missions for a while. There's a lot of people saying you're in like an over-leveled area.
I don't know where this map is.
I don't know how long ago
that everybody's been talking about.
It was back when you were talking about how you had no idea what the fuck was going on. They were all like,
oh, well, that has not changed. That has not changed in the slightest. Everyone's got some purple numbers too. I don't got.
Ohio gozaimasu. Mark, apparently in the new Dick Show, somebody offers $1,000 to fight me. I'm not gonna do it. First of all, because I don't want to fight, and second of all, because I don't trust him to actually give me $1,000, whoever it is.
Abilities, melee combos, communication, options, view mission progress.
Will you ever post a list of 80s OVAs and movies you went through that you actually think are worth watching? I mean, you could just go to my Mal and look at the scores I've given, really, but like,
yeah, it's my
I guess I could
shit.
make a list of some kind of... I never, like, watched, I barely made a dent in the list I had of ones I was planning to watch.
Oh my god, we're back to 60 frames per second. Well, that was miserable. Let's go somewhere else.
Have you guys tried Monster Hunter? I don't think either of us have.
No, but I'm curious about it. There's one for Switch.
It just seems like a huge time commitment, which is why I
yeah, my buddy's big into Monster Hunter, and he's like, yeah, you gotta, like, settle in and, like, strap your dick on for this. Can I do nothing on Venus? Oh, wait, Mercury Junction. Complete the junction path. Defeat Jackal. I can't go anywhere.
Why do you think a lot of people and content creators are calling 2018 the best year in anime? Because they don't know enough. And, like, I mean, a lot of people liked a lot more shows than I did. But, like...
Didn't you say 2007 was the best year?
2007 is the probably the best year. Like, in terms of... That's the thing. It's like, most of these people have not, like, gone back through the years and watched everything. Or,
people
like...
saying now is the best year or some shit?
Yeah, Jeff fucking had a whole video where he was like, 2018, possibly the best year of anime ever. And it's like, Jeff, you don't...
That's just clickbait.
You didn't watch anime until a certain point, and, like, you certainly weren't keeping up with everything good every year. Like, I've sat there and stared at the raw data of this shit over and over again. Like, even just in terms of scores that people give, or, like, you know, like, I know what came out every year. So, like, I can tell you what years were great, and, like, 2018 just is not on my radar in a list of the best years at all. Like, it's not one of the worst years, but it's not one of the best. It's pretty average.
Can I just say, I'm no longer on Earth, but I'm on Venus, but they're using the same map in an area like this on the Earth. It feels lazy.
Chiropractors are good, people don't get it.
A lot of people swear by them. Which is why I'm always just like, how weird. I know my battery on my controller is gonna die. I really don't understand how the gunplay in this game can feel so good, but the melee weapons feel like the worst melee weapons ever.
When you were talking about your fucking taking your fillings without any shit, people are like, damn, Tome is hardcore.
Dude.
Tom is a Chad, Tom is a fucking unit.
Good. I need more street cred.
Jesus Christ, fillings without numbing, you'll be able to take that prick in the back like a champ.
I mean, I'm sure it's the pain that I'll from that is going to be a fraction of the pain I've been for the last 2 months.
During the part where, like, because I hadn't read the chat, like, people were freaking out about you, like, not knowing what to do. They're all just like, please stop, change the game. This is fucking madness. Are we being trolled? Like,
dude, it felt... Time kind of stopped. I don't even know how long that whole section took because I was just like so confused.
We're like 40 minutes into the stream.
Oh god.
It felt a lot shorter.
It did. This is like good Warframe right now. It's just like go through a level, shoot some dudes. The guns feel nice. You know?
Yeah.
I wish I had grenades. But I do have a dodge roll, which is kind of cool. I've just figured that out. I have some weird purple thing attached to my neck. I don't know if it's block related. Because there was another thing that was attached to it throughout the whole tutorial.
I guess there was a part where you had the option to abort mission and you were not doing it and everyone was freaking the fuck out. Because you didn't click abort and they're all just like... And then finally when I told you the thing, everybody's like... coming hard. I'm just now getting to all of it. It's fucking hilarious.
This is why you can't fucking you gotta be on that chat, dude.
It was just because when we were telling the story of your back, like it took like a while, so I was just like hanging the chat in one spot so I wouldn't lose my place, and like that happened early on when the chat was moving really slow, and then it like sped up considerably because, you know, people started coming in.
Plus 10 armor.
Apparently you can press triangle to change matchmaking settings to solo. I mean, not right now, but at some point.
I say that just changes my looking.
Got robots inbound.
Here we go. Dude, what if we were playing Anthem right now?
Tom, go to the icon in the top corner and you can make it solo. Can't make it solo when in mission.
Makes sense. Just look how bad this sword is though. Like, it just doesn't feel cool. Fuck you. Fuck you. Just me and my handgun.
What do you think of Melee being not at Evo? Totally indifferent.
Yeah. I'm very pissed off that Guilty Gear is also not going to be at Evo.
That sucks.
Fucking betrayal. Why am I murdered?
I assume the bottom line is just that they put at Evo games that will get the most viewership, and like
I feel like
Melee had a moment in the sun when like the Smash doc came out and a lot of people cared, and like there was like a brief period where like they were able to get a lot of notoriety to the Smash community, but like it's not an active enough game that it changes dramatically. Like the meta is too one note for it to like if you watch fucking Street Fighter, like there's always new people coming in and like new champs, and there's a massive number of people who are good and who are like viable to be contenders for the winner. If you're watching Smash, it's gonna be one of the same 6 guys, you know? So I think it's just ultimately becomes less exciting over time.
Why am I doing this right now?
No. To get new weapons, you run missions for resources, then you buy the blueprints in the market in your ship, buy the blueprints with credits, the in-game currency, not platinum, which is the paid credits.
Yeah. Some items are only cost platinum, though. So I was like, there's got to be a way to get platinum somehow. Because I still only have 50 platinum from that you've had since the beginning. But, like, to get a new Warframe, it's like 13,000 platinum. Like,
Verbal says, Digi, now that you're caught up on Finish or Fail and seasonal bullshit, do you plan to dedicate more time to playing games? Just before we started this stream, I wrote a 20-minute analysis of Metroid Prime. I played through the game twice, I beat it in almost in one sitting the second time. Because you may remember on the last stream I had just recently beat the game. And then I went... So what happened was, like, I played through Metroid Prime and I had the feeling that I needed to play it again. Because, like, it's a game that gets more fun the better you are at it, and it's... Getting better is not a matter of, like, having better reflexes. It's a matter of knowing what to do. Like, if you know what are the best ways to tackle each encounter and, like, how to navigate the world and everything and, like, how to jump good, like, the game gets a lot easier once you are just thinking about it differently. So, I knew I wanted to play through it a second time, but I didn't want to do it immediately because I felt like I was spending too much time playing Metroid Prime. So I tried to move on and play Twilight Princess, and I fucking hate that game. Have you ever played Twilight Princess?
I played a little bit of it.
Oh my god. It's... Everything in the game feels like it was designed to waste as much time as possible. Like, I feel like they knew that people just wanted, like, Ocarina of Time, but bigger and longer, and that's what they made, except that it is just a boring fucking waste of time, and most of what you do doesn't even feel good or play good. I really hated it. I was playing the GameCube version, incidentally, because I've tried to play both GameCube and Wii version plenty of times in the past, and usually I make it a couple hours in and then give up. This time I played a little bit farther, but ultimately, again, I was just, like, so fed up with it, with all the boring fucking bullshit in it. So, like, at some point, I was like, I've already played an amount of this game in which I could have beaten Metroid Prime again. And so then I did that. Just beat it again and had a fucking great time. Beat it in probably like 6 hours. And it was fucking awesome. And so then I wrote an analysis. And I don't know. I don't think I'm going to have time to edit it before I leave. Because I'm leaving on Thursday to go to LA for a week. To see my family. So I will not be here on the Thursday stream or the next Tuesday stream. I assume Tom will just be playing WARFRAME or something, or Neo.
Don't play Devil May Cry 5, dude.
Oh yeah, DMC
Friday.
5 comes out. That's right.
I might do a Friday stream. I might bring back
do
the
whatever
party
you
stream.
want, man. Stream whatever the fuck you want.
I'm glad that they were originally going to do this fucking Spinal thing on Friday. I'm like, not on Devil May Cry Day. Then they called like 20 minutes after, and they're like, oh, actually Monday. I'm like, oh.
Apparently the stuff you pick up on missions you can use to make weapons and swag.
Yeah, but it's so slow. You know? I like the Diablo style loot, where it's just like every 5 minutes, like I got a new gun.
Guilty Gear died so Eunice could live.
I don't know what that is, but I don't like it already. Is it kill Guilty Gear?
I think it's... what's that game? The Under Night in Birth. I think that might be what it is.
Sounds disgusting.
I'm not sure though. I don't think Tom knows about the slide slash. You picked the Virgin Sword instead of the Chad bow staff.
I know, I fucked up. Shrink. There's a lot of cool things. Like, a lot of this stuff is like, oh, you can get more combos for your sword. I'm like, really? It's like, but you gotta find fucking combo chips or whatever. I'm like, no, I can't do that. Oh, am I just going back to where I came from now? I cleared everything out. Back here, bitch. Why is everybody running from me? They're like humans. I don't know why they're making weird noises.
No, thank you. I skipped your long ass message because it was incomprehensible. It was madness.
The text version of
He wrote this long ass thing about how I should just analyze kung fu movies instead of anime, and I was like, why? I don't even watch kung fu movies.
It seems like too niche of a thing, even though I'd totally be down for it because it sounds fucking cool.
Did you or Tom, do you think Ben would take a max revive if it wasn't keto? Yeah, he breaks keto all the time.
Yeah, come get me. Bang, bang, bang.
Ever tried playing lesser known games? Recently a very interesting game called Kenshi came out. Good shit. Never heard of it.
Wasn't that like the game by like one guy or like a small team of guys were working on it for like ever and finally came out?
Isn't that like half of all indie games? Every time an indie game comes out and that's the story, I'm like, how have I not heard about it? It's been in development for like 7 or 8 years, like Owlboy or Hyperlight Drifter. Like, I never heard of those games until they were released.
I did it. I beat it. I got Northwind and Metal Fiber mods. Oh, I feel so good.
I'm gonna look up this Kenshi game because it has a cool name.
It does. I would play more small games.
Yeah, we talked about making this channel like indie focused, but then we just never decided what indie games to play.
Then GameCube Forever happened. I'm like, that's the most un-indie thing I've ever heard.
This Kenshi game looks like Morrowind.
That's not necessarily a good thing. Morrowind looks kind of shitty.
It looks like somebody attempted to make an indie Morrowind. It's a free-roaming squad-based RPG, focusing on open-ended sandbox gameplay features rather than a linear story. Be a traitor, a thief, a rebel, a warlord, an adventurer, a farmer, a slave, or just food for the cannibals. Research new equipment and craft new gear. Doesn't sound like my kind of game at all.
Well, all of these skins you have to pay real money for. Disgusting. Attachments. No chest select.
Have you considered you are not an acid guy, but in fact a mushroom guy? Think about it. I mean, I'd love to try mushrooms, I just haven't had the opportunity. Hippo streamed Kenshi a while ago, apparently.
Huh. Interesting.
Apparently Hippo and HGB guy are kind of obsessed with it.
Oh.
Cut down the and make the Lotus proud.
Plus 15 electricity.
Hoping you guys will play Shadow Warrior someday.
I do have it.
Bunch of people telling us to play Fury and Celeste as usual.
I did want to play Fury, but I heard it was really fucking hard.
I think it's a pretty short game, so it's just a boss rush.
Plus 15 electricity.
I do want to play Fury. It seems like my type of game. Did you look into 4-ACO DMT? It's a legal silicon analog which is indistinguishable from mushrooms and completely safe, and also arguably better because it's a powder you can dose accurately. You can get it online. Is that true? You can get psychedelic drugs legally online?
What the fuck?
Well, I mean, the only reason I've done acid is that it has just happened to come into my purview because, like, literally Zen Huxtable just has a friend who has acid, and so every once in a while he does it. I think he said he basically does it once a month, and it seems that I am currently his guy of choice to do acid with, which is great. Zen is a fun person to do acid with because we have pretty similar music tastes, but he's mostly into like jazz and crazy freeform shit that's like he's classically trained, so he knows like music theory and all that kind of shit, whereas I just listen to weird crap. Pretty much our last trip was just a cultural exchange between him showing me jazz and me showing him the Mars Volta. It was pretty cool. Is Gravity Rush on your guys' radar? Gravity Rush 2 is more polished but has some interesting mechanics in both games. I have not played either of them. Does Mark still plan to play through every Final Fantasy game?
Mark, when are you gonna do your Final Fantasy retrospective? That's way better than Nate's Final Fantasy retrospective.
10 years from now.
I'm gonna hold you to that. 10 years. I'm gonna call you up on the interbrain phone that we all have.
Maybe Final Fantasy 16 will be out by then.
No. Final Fantasy 7 Remake's taking up all their time. And that'll be like 15% done by then.
There'll be another.
My favorite series that I've ever launched is the GameCube Forever series because of the fact that I specifically said I would review every GameCube game over the course of 35 years. And like whenever I have a series, that's how I think of it. Like, I don't think of like launching into a series as like, oh, I'm gonna do this consistently week after week or month after month. It's like, yeah, this will just be operating in the background whenever I feel like doing it for the rest of my life, you know? And then I just pile on more series, and I drop the ones that I'm not interested in anymore. But, like, I got tired of announcing series and people constantly asking me about them, and it's like, dude, I'm still alive, so it's not canceled. Like, I live on this earth. So I said, fuck it, I'm gonna promise to have it done in 35 years, and now you'll know that it's not meant to come out quickly. Incidentally, there's this band called Crumb that has a song called... Fuck, I don't remember what the song was called, but it's they only have 2 songs that have music videos, and one of them Zen and I watched like 6 times over the course of our trip because it was just really dense. Like, both the music and video were really densely layered. It was just like a really satisfying experience. When is the Pikmin analysis? It might be next after Metroid Prime, but I mean, I'm not gonna make any promises. Digi, do you still listen to Coal Tar of the Deepers? They might release a new album this year based on a tweet by the lead member of the band. I do. That would be sick. I listen to them a lot when I'm writing. It's probably my favorite thing to write to.
Here's a question for IM Games viewers. Would anybody be interested in streaming Sega Genesis games? Because I'm really thinking about maybe getting that fucking re-released Sega Genesis just because I have to. And if I had an actual reason to get it other than...
What do you mean by re-released Sega Genesis?
So this company, they already did it for Super Nintendo. They made one that's like native HDMI and shit, and like works with modern
Aren't those
TVs.
already, like, isn't that been a thing for a while? Because like at the store they always have that machine that does Genesis, NES, and SNES all in one.
Those are all like emulators. The thing that's good about these ones is that they've done it with like actual a hardware solution and not an emulator. So it's like 100% compatibility and everything's like perfect and good. That's why it's like $200.
God damn. Yeah. Can't you just buy a fucking Genesis?
I mean, I have a Genesis.
Oh. But it doesn't have HDMI.
No, it hooks up via RF. You can't even hook it up to this TV.
Oh, God.
So.
That's right. Isn't it like... Don't you have to have a VCR? Or some shit?
You just have to have an RF connection for like, you know, an antenna and shit. That's
that's
how it worked.
I remember the time we bought a Genesis at a thrift store and it would we could only hook it up via VCR.
So bizarre. Yeah, that's kind of why I would want to get the new one. So just plug it into HDMI and call it a day. I'm assuming that means until I'm done, because I've survived, because I'm a god.
Don't waste your energy on Slash Dash. You can keep Exalted Blade going for years if you keep killing enemies, unless they nerf it again.
Oh, there's like meta for this game, that's right. Fuck. Yeah, handgun is so good. It's so, it's like a payload handgun. It's like perfect.
Life support incoming.
People are saying yes, they want your Genesis streams. I mean, why wouldn't they? You offered to do a thing. That's the thing. Like, I have a policy, never ask people if they want me to do something because the answer will always be yes.
I don't know. Sometimes the answer. I died right at the end.
Well, the what you have to do is you have to say, do you want this if it means you won't get this other thing? Like, that's the way you get a real answer. Because everybody just wants more. Like, they want as much as you can possibly provide. Like, there's a lot of people who don't care, but they're not going to say anything. They're not going to respond no. The only people who are going to respond is the people who think yes. So you have to say, like, do you want me to do this type of video if it means that you won't get this one as frequently? Then you'll get an honest answer.
Well, it would probably be between Sega content and game games, though.
Digi, have you decided if Sangatsu is better than Eva? I mean, my current stance is that it is the best anime, is Sangatsu. But
you gotta subscribe.
We have Cookies56 subscribed to Twitch Prime for 3 months in a row. And then Pancakes with Crackers did for 3 months as well and said, pray to the god of Amazon Prime.
Dude, if you have Amazon Prime, you get tons of extra shit in Warframe.
That's crazy. I have Amazon Prime.
Why are these guys so hard?
That's right, I do see that in my
What's
Twitch
happening? I don't even realize I'm getting hit.
time.
The hit detection not hit detection, but like letting you know you're getting hit in this game is fucking atrocious. I've died 3 times. I didn't even know I was getting hit. It's so gay.
Hit damage indicator.
Thank you. That's what it is. Their damage indicators are pathetic. So we're just gonna keep going. Fuck it. Fuck trying. Just gonna skip it all.
I just like how your player character is basically if Deadpool had a baby with Raiden from Metal Gear Revengeance.
I mean,
it's basically like
some
combination of them.
He's actually orange. I could make him red though. Hey. Fuck.
What do you use Amazon Prime for, Digi? Is it worth it? I use it for free shipping.
Free shipping, free 2-day shipping.
Right, free 2-day shipping on literally everything. So,
Save me.
It's funny because it wouldn't be worth it if I was the only one using it, but May uses it a lot more than I do. Because she orders shit on Amazon all the time. Right?
Not all the time.
Well, more than I do. I would say so. Every time I log in, it's in your... I switch the card because it's always on your card.
Well, I don't know. I don't think I order that much stuff on Amazon.
I order maybe something every 2 months.
That's about how often I do it.
Well, it's probably not worth how much we're paying for it, but
you gotta start playing Warframe, dude.
It's always nice to
hit this button on the they have a whole market tab. Where is it? Free Prime with Twitch Prime.
I've been like in a state for a very long time. I've been in a state of meaning to buy more on Amazon because like I've always been such a brick and mortar baby. I love going to stores and buying stuff, but like it's not worth it because it costs more and like there's not as much selection, and there's buying shit on Amazon is a lot better for buying things around the house. Like if you need some appliance or something, like for instance, I bought May an electric tea kettle, and like they have like one that they make, like an Amazon Home Essentials one, and it's like the best tea kettle for a low price that you're gonna find, you know, so it's like you might as well get that one.
Da 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 da. Fucking playing a video game.
To the guy trying to sell me on Genesis, I am well aware of Genesis. I've never really cared for their music.
I thought we were still talking about Sega.
No. Prog rock is baby acid music. Listen to Les Rises the Nudes instead. One of them hijacked a plane. Alright.
happening.
I mean, we were pretty much exclusively listening to jazz or jazz fusion or jazz. Like, I would not really consider the Mars Volta a prog rock band. They're really a jazz band with a psychedelic experimental edge. But it's like, you know, it's clearly like trained musicians who can do full improv and everything.
Oh boy, here we go.
Remember when the U.S. president fondled Raiden's crotch because he thought he was a girl?
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
Are you guys interested in Rage 2? Never played the first one.
Mega textures, dude. Wow, that guy just fucked me good. Oh god, they're everywhere.
What were they thinking when they created, like, the next step in graphical technology and then made the entire game fucking brown?
Ooh. I didn't know textures and, I didn't know colors specifically took up so much VRAM. So, like, well, if you want to have these high-resolution videos, we're gonna have to get rid of all colors.
Josh Seabrain says, I own Amazon Prime solely to watch the opening of Elfen Lied in an infinite loop. That's a worthy use, I guess.
But YouTube was real.
Tom, you need to slide dash jump around. The movement is the fun of this game.
I just don't know how to do all the cool stuff yet. Plus, like, it looks cool, but you kind of go flying all over the place. You don't really have control over the momentum. At least I don't.
Hey Digi, I watched the first season of Sangatsu no Lion and I didn't enjoy it. Why is it that I can't enjoy good things? Wait till you're older. Watch it again.
I'm 37.
Wait till you're older. Watch it again.
Fuck you.
What are your favorite consoles and why?
I love the Sega. I love the Sega Genesis. It's fucking great. It was my first console, so I'm definitely biased. But I've always really liked the sound chip that the console used.
Yeah.
Like, to this day, I think that's like the coolest sounding music. That's why Izumi, I got people to make music that are in the style of Sega Genesis. So it sounds like a Sega game. It looks like a Sega game.
The Sega Genesis is a super unique console. Like, every time I see Genesis games, I'm always like, huh. Because they just feel so different from Super Nintendo games.
Yeah.
And, like, I didn't have either one growing up, but I've played a lot of Super Nintendo on emulators, and I haven't really played much Genesis at all.
It's fucking great.
I played a bit of Beyond Oasis, which was pretty cool. And Phantasy Star 4, which is awesome.
Yeah, all the Phantasy Star games are pretty good. The first one, you can feel its age. Phantasy Star 2 is really fun, though.
I had, like, a Phantasy Star collection on the Game Boy Advance that I remember playing, like, 15 minutes of when I was younger and being like, this is gay. But I bought Phantasy Star 4 on, like, the Steam Genesis collection thing. And it's fucking pretty good. I only played a few hours of it, but I really liked it.
You know what was a cool game for Genesis? Comic Zone. Game, like, doesn't even seem like it should be real.
Don't know anything about it.
It's like a guy gets trapped in a comic book. Very 90s kind of guy.
Yeah.
And just the way the game is presented and the way they play with panels and how you move around and stuff. And just the visuals are just... It doesn't seem like something that Sega should be able to do, and yet it's happening. You're seeing it. It's like, huh. It's just very visually impressive. It's like a beat 'em up kind of game. It's just tons of cool combos and stuff. They use the comic book aesthetic and gimmick for some cool things. Pretty lit.
Digi seems like the type of nigga that listened to Tool when he was a teenager because he thought it was deep. First of all, no, you must have just already known that about me. And second of all, Tool is deep. Like, lyrically at the very least, their lyrics are deep and very interesting. I don't think that's an unfair thing to say. I think I sometimes ponder their lyrics when I hear their songs and go, wow, those are interesting. And like something like Stinkfist is a very They have a lot of interesting takes on sexuality that don't really get brought up in music much. Like sexuality out of desperation and things like that. Just angles that aren't really covered by most music. Shoulder deep inside the borderline. Show me that you love me and we belong together. Knuckles deep inside the borderline. Relax, turn around and take my hand. Tom, did you ever play Shining Force?
I have. I love Shining Force. I have Shining Force 1 as a physical cartridge. The first Shining Force I played was Shining Force 2 Sword of Hyjah for Game Gear.
I feel like we talked about doing that for a stream before.
Yeah, we did. And it's not a bad idea. It's pretty cool. God damn.
You gotta play Sonic 3D Blast on Genesis, but don't actually play it. Just start it up, listen to the music, watch the intro and stuff, because the game itself sucks.
What is happening?
What's the worst customer service you've dealt with? I don't know. Can you think of the worst customer service you've dealt with?
eBay and PayPal. They were complicit in a thief stealing a $600 iPhone from me.
That's fucked.
So yeah, that's the worst. And it took me like 4 months to like.
PayPal also got you out $80.
Yeah, they did. So fuck PayPal. They are gay. What is that? Okay. What the fuck? I didn't even know. I thought there was an invisible wall there.
Dude, Tool isn't just lyrically deep. They're like compositionally deep. They're, you know. I don't think. So someone says, dude, it's the Fibonacci sequence, man. Yeah, like that's what I know that people think about. Like, if you wanted to be an obnoxious piece of shit Tool fan, you'd be like, dude, it's the Fibonacci sequence, isn't that fucking deep? But, like, they do have legitimately deep things. Like, the Fibonacci thing is cool. It's not, like, it's not special in terms of, like, you know, anybody can make a conceptual composition. Like, I think that song is fucking amazing. I love Lateralis, but, like, not because it has the Fibonacci sequence in it, but because it is a good-ass song.
Things are happening.
Everything in Warframe looks the same. Everything.
I kind of agree.
Fuck PayPal and fuck eBay for screwing my boy Tom.
I don't know if I ever told the story of what happened, but like I was fucking livid. Because like I sold an iPhone 6 to a guy, and when he got it, he immediately messaged me and was like, oh, it's broken, it doesn't work, it doesn't turn on. I'm like, well, I mean, it did when I gave it to you. And so we went back and forth on that for a while, and eBay was eventually like, you have to take it back, because it's broken, it's not as you described. I'm like, okay. So I get it back, and I open up the box, and I'm already assuming this is a scam. I'm going to figure out what he's trying to do. And it had a screen protector, like a glass screen protector installed. Mm-hmm. And when I got it back, the screen protector had been, like, completely destroyed. Like, cracked and everything. He just threw it on top of the box itself. He just put the phone in there. And I immediately knew that he tampered with the phone. Because the way, where it was cracked, the way you remove a screen from an iPhone in order to, like, open it up and, like, change components and stuff, is you have to put a suction cup on the bottom of the screen and pull upwards. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly where the screen protector had been shattered. I.e., you know, he tried to pull up on the screen and it shattered the screen protector. So I was like, okay, this is already fucked up. So I try, you know, again, telling eBay about that. They're like, get fucked, whatever. Like, you need to talk to the dude about it. He'll fix it for you. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure the scammer is gonna be totally okay with me trying to get him fucked over. So I take it to Apple, and Apple opens it up and looks at the board on the inside. They're like, yeah, the serial number on the casing doesn't match the serial number on the board, so the board was swapped. So someone took the $500 board out of the $600 phone and the screen and put a broken screen and a dead board back in and shipped it back to you. I'm like, can I get that in writing? They're like, no, we can't give you that in writing, but we can tell you that it's been tampered with. We give you a form that, like, will say that. I'm like, okay. So I gave it to eBay and PayPal. I'm like, so Apple opened up the phone. It has been tampered with. And they're like, well, there's no way to prove you didn't do that, so we're still siding with the buyer. Get fucked.
That's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. So, at the end of the day... So I said straight up, I was like, so you're telling me that all I have to do is buy something that I've broken and send it back, and you have no... Because at first I was like, you have no policy in place for this kind of situation. They're like, no, we'll side with the buyer 100% of the time. Like, so I can just buy things that I've broken off eBay and get things for free. He's like, you should be really careful what you're saying on the phone. This is being recorded. I'm like, bitch! Are you fucking kidding me right now? So, straight up, if you guys want free shit on eBay, just buy something that's broken, then buy the same thing not broken, return the one that was broken, and eBay will literally side with you no matter what.
My buddy Donson used to do a lot of shit like that, where he would just
He's the one who bought my phone.
He would, not so much on eBay, he would do it to, like, Best Buy, where he would buy shit and then return...
Oh god.
You know, buy something and then put a broken version in the box and take it back. Be like, oh, it didn't work, and then just get his money back.
Yeah. I don't really blame him. But I hate it when it happens to me!
Yeah. It's fucked up to do that to a person as opposed to a company.
Yeah. You know, they don't pay any fucking taxes, so I'm sticking it to them. What? There's more dudes coming, I guess. This is just a horde mode mission right now. So, and it just goes on forever until you decide to quit.
Disturbed Hyena says, I dislike most prog rock bands apart from King Crimson. I do too, because most prog rock bands are the exact same. And, like...
Not a lot of progress. Not very close.
Right. Like, most of them just sound like Yes. Like, they're just... It's not so much that they are, like, doing anything inventive or new. It's just that they are using this style of song structure, you know? And, like, I don't find that inherently interesting. Whereas, like, King Crimson is a band that was about experimenting and doing lots of improv and, you know, a little bit closer to a jazz thing than just, like,
no, don't you do
structured written songs. This is why you never interact with people ever. They just fuck you over. It's especially bad when it comes to money. Pretty much.
Well, I mean, I haven't sold anything like that on eBay since then. For Apple products. I've sold, like, PC parts and stuff, but oh,
Ninja Jeff 50 says, I used to think the world sucks and being born is bad luck. People will fuck you over and try to squeeze you dry. But then I realized DMC 5 is coming out this week, bitch. Let's rock, baby!
Yeah, that's literally the only thing keeping me going right now. Because I'm, like, too crippled to really do work other than, like, really basic shit. I'm just waiting for the 8th to save me. Look at all these drops that I just can't pick up for whatever reason. I don't know what they are or what they do. Who's this guy? Okay.
What podcasts do you guys still listen to? You listen to any podcasts?
I listen to Joe Rogan Experience every now and then. There's a guest on that I like.
Is it good? I've never listened to Joe Rogan, but I know he's like the most popular podcaster.
I mean, he just talks to people about shit. Which is kind of cool. Like, sometimes he can come off as an asshole. Because there was one time he did an interview with Steven Crowder, and they got into a big debate about weed, because Steven Crowder's, like, very anti-weed.
What a piece of shit.
Well, I mean, he's a conservative kind of guy, so he's very traditional in that sense. He was like, basically is like, if you want to do it, fine, but I'm just not into it. And, like, Joe has just got really high and mighty about the weed thing, and turned into a huge fucking massive argument between them. And it was just like cringy the whole time. It was like, this is like not a fun argument. It's clearly like one guy being zealous about something. And it was weird.
That's annoying.
But I mean, that's usually not what happens.
I keep up with the Dick Show every week for the most part, and lately I have been marathoning Who Are These Podcasts.
Yeah, I want to check that out.
It's very easy to listen to in the background because it's not like amazing, but it's just entertaining enough, and it's very well edited and well presented.
God, imagine
So
if
like,
PCP was well edited.
dude, I mean, were you on the latest PCP? You were, right?
Yeah.
And like I was talking about how like listening to Who Are These Podcasts has made me like it like not to say that I don't know that the PCP is a piece of shit podcast, but like it really sinks in when you're listening to a guy like rag on podcasts all day and just thinking about how your podcast has so many of the problems being discussed.
Oh my
god. It's made me want like for a very long time, I've wanted to try and have, like, an actual legit podcast. Like, a show that is, like, once a week that has structure and, like, a format and editing and shit. But, like, I've never been able to come up with something that I wanted to do that way and, like, put that much effort into that I thought would succeed. I just really want to do it. But, yeah, listening to Who Are These Podcasts is it's a lot of fun, and what's great about it is that it develops this meta, because like in the early episodes it's just literally they review a podcast every week, but at some point there's this podcast called Opie and Anthony, or well, it was a radio show that was really huge for a long time, and because the host was a huge fan of it, he's like tracking the careers of the two guys, and one of them is this dude Opie, who's a fucking moron, and he's like he's basically the Maddox of the breakup of Opie and Anthony, and he every single week he has an update on the Opie podcast, and like so you'll listen to him tear apart a podcast with whatever guest he has, and then there'll be a whole section just dedicated to this week's episode of Opie Radio. And then sometimes he'll give updates on Maddox or like other podcasters who he's shit on who like have something, you know, newly interesting going on. So you kind of get these updates, and like it forms a narrative across the whole series of like following all these weird clowns. It's a lot of fun. And he uses a lot of drops because he has like a soundboard that he's very active with. And a lot of them are stuck in my head now. Like, there's one that's like, who gives a shit, who gives a fuck? And like, I keep thinking, every time I'm like, seeing some bullshit, like watching some shitty anime, I'm just like, who gives a shit, who gives a fuck? There's one that's like, think about it, would you listen to this? Would this be interesting to you? And I kept thinking that during the latest PCP recording, but I didn't want to say it. Oh boy.
This is a mess. I imagine this is what Anthem and Destiny are like. Someone who's played those games, tell me if I'm right. Just a clusterfuck of stupid shit.
The audience will hear the latest PCP on Friday, but
God damn it! I
literally
cannot
like
do any damage to these things.
Right off the bat, like right after the introductions, it's immediately Nate's like, "So, what's going on, guys?" And then we like kind of bullshit around for like 10 minutes, and then it's like, "So, anybody got a story?" And we're just like, nobody came prepared at all. Nobody had any ideas of what they were going to talk about. Eventually, Jesse tells like a 30-minute story of just the previous night's party that clearly was not meant to be a story. He just was like, "Well, I guess I'll wring this out for as long as I can." And then eventually we start talking about video games, and that's finally when we get passionate and start like seriously discussing things.
M3 relic, 30 endo, 46 circuits. I don't know what any of this shit means. This game's not good at telling me what's going on.
To see you.
The old single topic episodes are kind of boring. It really depends. I mean, like, early PCP single topic episodes I think were good, but like, basically because we had to like force ourselves to come up with a topic, we would just come up with really stupid bullshit topics that nobody really wanted to talk about. Like, because it had to be broad enough that everybody could have something to say about it. And we usually just had really shallow things to say, so going topicless was the right idea, but like, it helps if we come prepared with something, like, you know, oh, I've got a story of what I did for the last couple of days, or like, here's something that was on my mind that I wanted to talk about for 30 minutes, you know, but like, we literally had, nobody came with anything, and the first 10 minutes is like incomprehensible. If you don't follow PCP, there's no way you would understand anything that is discussed in the first 10 minutes of the podcast. Disturbed Hyena asked, hey Tom, have you ever tried drawing comics or manga? Tom's done a bunch of comics. Up until recently, he was almost primarily a comic guy.
Yeah.
He first gained notoriety in the pony fandom for like a 70-page Scootaloo comic called, what the fuck was it called? What was your Scootaloo comic called?
Sisterhood Social thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that what it was called? Sisterhood Social? Because it's also an episode of the show.
I don't remember anymore!
It was Sisterhood Slighted, right?
That was it.
Yeah. You don't even remember the name of your fucking, like, biggest comic project.
Look.
Come
a long way since then.
And then you were working on this Trixie comic for a while.
I did one issue of that.
And then there was Sorceress Lost, which had, like, probably 12 pages of motion comic. Is that website's still up, right? SorceressLost.com?
I think the thing expired because they were going to charge like $300 to keep it on.
Jesus Christ.
That's the whole thing. You get those websites, the first year is nice, but as soon as you upgrade, it's like, or you want to like re-up it, it's like, that was our introductory price. It's actually like 4 times as expensive.
I wonder how long we have iamgames.fun for. We've done nothing with it. It just directs to our YouTube page.
It's just good to have. It's good for the memes. Do I build a taxon? With assault mode and molecular conversion as default precepts, taxon protects its owner with shield restoration. I don't know what the fuck that means, but I have enough money, so I'm building a taxon.
This guy says,
oh boy, it's gonna take a day to build this.
Comical Muse says, bring topics back. Please, I beg you. Those podcasts were way more interesting and impassioned. In what way were they impassioned? They were usually like floundering nonsense.
Please, I want cooler guns. The ones I have now suck balls. I could buy this. Furus, you might have things for that. Bronco. Mastery lock. God damn it. Buy another one. You stupid. Could buy a bow. The MK1 Paris is a standard issue bow. But doesn't suck.
Do you think you'll ever get to make a podcast with Anthony Fantano again? I don't know, maybe. We have something to talk about. I'm not really somebody who likes to just do random collaborations with people if there's not a reason for it. Like, there's a lot of people who I could probably do something with, but it's like, I need a justification. I need there to be a reason that me and this person are the best to do this thing together. Is MLP actually good, or is it a big meme? I mean, it literally was all I cared about for about 2 years. What do you think, Tom? Was MLP actually good, or is it a big meme?
It was actually good. If you're into that kind of shit, I mean, if you like can watch Cartoon Fridays and stuff and still enjoy them, you'll enjoy MLP. It's that same kind of thing. It's just like a good...
Yeah, it's a fun cartoon. Like, if you... Like, the people who, including us, who got, like, too involved, I would say that that was a mistake. Not a mistake in terms of, like, it was fun to do at the time, but, like, it does affect your perception of the show if you get too into it, because you're expecting too much from it. It's... If you just watch it as just a fun cartoon show, it's fun and a good show. Like,
Right.
The characters are fun, the writing is fun, the animation is fun. Not every episode's a winner, but if you are just like marathoning the show, you aren't gonna care that much. Like, if you're watching it weekly and like holding it to some kind of standard and like reviewing it, then you will have a lot more nitpicks and a lot more negativity worked in. But like, if you were to just marathon the first like 4 or 5 seasons, you would probably be like, yeah, that was fucking great. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
I'll go back and finish it someday. Considering the last season's coming out right the fuck now. Well, I'm right now. Shoot dudes with the bow. It's gonna be fucking cool. I hope. Shit. Just did this. It just makes me want to play Gears. Gears of War is more fun than this shit.
Guys, if you want to have literally any question about My Little Pony answered, just go watch my videos about it. I did like hundreds of fucking MLP videos. Like, there's no way I can... Whenever people ask me like, so what was the deal with that show? I'm like, I have videos about that. Like...
I spent a few years of my life dedicating to answering that question.
What do you think I'm gonna...
Overly painful detail.
Yeah, well, I can't just summarize it in 3 sentences. Like, it was a fucking lot. It was literally my fucking life for a long time. Do you still talk with your friends from the blogger days? I mean, I still occasionally talk to Ghost Lightning. Very occasionally. I follow him on Facebook. We both follow each other on Twitter when he happens to be on, so, you know. But he's the only person from the blogger days who I still communicate with. I wouldn't really say that I had other, like, friends from the blog. It's more like I knew people. Like, I've never been somebody who makes, like, a lot of friends, you know? The PCP are the first, like, real online friends that I've had. Where it's, like, people who I am in regular contact with, who, like, I have a chat with, you know, with all of us in the group kind of thing. If you watch anything about MLP, you have to watch the Horseshoe Saga. Absolutely. You do not have to watch My Little Pony at all to watch the Horseshoe Saga, and you should. Just look up the full playlist of the whole thing and watch the whole fucking thing. It is well worth your time. I rewatched it with May, and it was exactly as... It was even more incredible than I remembered, because I don't even think I fucking fully understood it the first time, because I was a fucking stupid child. Does it annoy you when people start focusing more on shit like fandoms rather than just focusing on the art itself? I mean, it's fun to participate in fandom. It does annoy me when people like hate on a show because of its fandom. That's like completely unrelated. It's just something that sprung up on its own and is usually informed by itself. Comical Muse says, I would never rewatch one of the formless casts. I rewatch some because of their episode titles. I mean, I wouldn't rewatch any of them.
What does that have to say about our overall quality?
I don't listen to the ones that I'm not on.
I was caught up on the PCP for a while.
I used to listen to all of them. Like, I used to... For a very long time, I was the person who cared by far the most about the PCP. Because in the early days, nobody took it very seriously because they all thought podcasts sucked. Like, none of us were really into podcasts, and, like, everybody else in the group, except for maybe Hippo and I, like, all were just like, oh, this is just, like, a shitty side thing we do just for an excuse to talk to friends. I was the only person who would, like, listen to all of them back and was like, this show is legitimately great, and I love it. And, like, I would always talk about that. Jesse's always actively hated it and thought it was terrible. Nate just was, you know, like, whatever. I don't think he's ever listened to one back. I don't think Ben's ever listened to one back. But, like, at some point, I stopped having, like, I just didn't have enough, the kind of free time that I needed to occupy with sounds of me and my friends' own voices again. So I just stopped bothering. It got long. Because it used to be that we were aiming for like an hour on each episode, and now we just kind of go fucking... We basically go until everyone's exhausted, and then we go to voicemails for 30 minutes. What exactly is the Horseshoe Saga? It is Endless Jess's series of videos about My Little Pony, which form a narrative. It was what... When I was constantly advertising, how they marketed it as a series with a narrative, that's because it was influenced by the Horseshoe Saga, which was a series with a narrative. But essentially it was just a series of episodic analysis of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, but with this ongoing story about Jesse and his life and his career that was going on under it, which ends in an epic film called The Horseshoe Finale, which is the end of Ava of the Horseshoe Saga. It's amazing. Yes, Steve is the one who made the Horseshoe Saga playlist and the video explaining it. I don't even think his video is necessary, just watch the damn thing. Tom, you should spam the melee slam attack. It knocks down enemies.
Yeah, I don't do that right now.
Have you tried rewatching The Plebe and the Weeb? I think it surpassed the Horseshoe Saga, and Jess recently said he agreed. I don't know if I necessarily think it surpassed it, because while Jesse's editing work and shit is really great on The Plebe and the Weeb, a lot of the parts where we're actually just talking about the movies and shit is really boring. Like, it really depends on the episode, but like for instance, in the first two, if it wasn't for Jesse's editing, they would be unwatchable. The first two of the second season, I mean. But like the parts that are great are great. Horseshoe Saga doesn't really have boring parts in it. Jesse's humor during Plebe and the Weeb is the same humor I had when I was 12. You are wrong. There's no way that's true. And it's very presumptuous of you to even suggest as much. Did you hear that Microsoft is releasing an Xbox with no disc tray? It's called the Xbox One S All Digital Edition, aka the Xbone. Sad. Did you hear about that?
I heard about it vaguely a couple months ago. I didn't know if anything actually ended up coming from it, but I guess they're making it real.
Digi, you always talk about narrative in videos. Could you please elaborate more on what you mean by that? I mean, literally, there is a narrative in the videos. Like, a literal story that is told through the videos. Like there's characters, there is a plot, there's acting, and it ends with a movie.
I think that guy with the glasses, if the skits were good and bad.
Right. Like, it used to be that YouTube videos usually had some kind of narrative element. Like, reviewers usually had, like, some kind of plot line, but most of it was really fucking terrible. And Jesse kind of started off as a, like, an attempt to do it well. I mean, AVGN always did it well, having, like, stories in his episodes and, like, occasionally, like, callbacks and... You know, it wasn't like a continuous narrative so much, but the videos had stories. JonTron had stories, you know, like, used to be pretty standard for internet reviews. Jesse had a lot of that, and then with the Horseshoe Review saga, he took it to another level, where there was this continuous narrative, but it wasn't like, it wasn't at the forefront, it was always kind of bubbling in the background. And then in the movie, at the end, it all comes to the forefront, and it's like the conclusion of that narrative. But the narrative is just the true story of his life as interpreted through these characters.
There's a lot going on.
It is pretty dense. It is easily the best thing that's ever happened on YouTube, in my personal opinion. Like, there's nothing that I would even compare to the Horseshoe Saga.
Does this look like Venus to you?
No, in no way.
This game's stupid. Immersion broken.
Speaking of the plebe and the weeb, where is your fur coat? It's in the other room. You guys should play Metal Slug on stream. That game's hard.
It's fun.
When are you doing the Mononoke Ghibli cast? I have no idea. It's not the next one. After you watch the Horseshoe Saga, go watch the Furnace Room and Horseshoe Heaven. I mean, trying to follow the narrative after Horseshoe Saga would be a nightmare. Like, watching the Horseshoe Saga is surprisingly followable if you just watch the playlist that Steve put together. Like, it's if you were watching it at the time, it felt a lot more difficult to follow than it actually was. Watching it all at once in a playlist, it feels like it was, you could tell it was well thought out and that, like, all the parts fit together. All the shit that came afterwards was Jesse just literally losing his mind and, like, trying to do, like, a really ambitious storyline that quickly spiraled out of control, and it's really difficult to follow now because everything has a different name, and like all his channels had their names changed in the course of the story and all this other shit, and it's just like, there was so many, like, secret videos and weird fucking offshoots and, like, videos that didn't seem to have anything to do with each other that were connected, and it was just like, if you weren't following literally everything he was putting out across all of his channels, then you pretty much had no idea what was going on after that point. So it's a lot harder to follow that narrative, and it also never quite went anywhere, because, like, the things he had planned, because his videos were taking so long to get made and shit, the narrative just kind of eventually fizzled out. And now he's just trying not to do narratives anymore because he realized it was a terrible idea for YouTube.
Well, current YouTube.
Yeah. So is this game good?
No. but it's not bad. It's literally just one of those time wasting games. Like I'm just
the important thing is that it's free.
The gameplay loop is just good enough that I can waste time and feel like I'm stimulated. Like this shotgun feels good. Like watch this.
Yeah.
Whoa, fucking.
That was pretty fucking lit.
So like, that's it. That's the entire game. I wish it gave out loot more, because that's kind of what keeps you playing this shit. The loot is very slow. Like this entire time, I have not gotten a single new item. I've gotten mods, but those are gay and boring.
Ninja Jeff 50 says, so I finally bit the bullet and got Discord despite my apprehensions, and I feel bad for avoiding any digital contact with my RL friends because I thought they would annoy me, and I feel like I needlessly complicated and made my life more difficult out of fear of something that isn't real, and maybe normal fags aren't that bad after all. Why even avoid talking to them? I don't know, man. Relate? I've never talked to my IRL friends on Discord. I mean, I don't have any IRL friends anymore. I guess Tom counts, since I mostly talk to you in person now.
I don't know. We do still talk on Discord a lot.
Yeah. None of my IRL friends were on Discord. They were literally too normie. They use Facebook Messenger.
I have some people I know IRL that I talk to on Discord. I don't mind IRL people. I think they can be cool.
I think looking at my IRL friends' communications on Facebook made me realize that I shouldn't be friends with them. Because, like, their sense of humor just doesn't, like, vibe with me at all. Like, the kind of shit that they say, the kind of jokes that they make in the Facebook group, I'm always just like, this is fucking nonsense. Like, this is not funny and you're all annoying. And I think that's what drove me away from them. Because, like, once they formed a Facebook group, because it was mostly to talk about Street Fighter, but it was just non-stop, like, jokes and memes and in-jokes and Street Fighter. And I was just, like, not interested in any of it. So, the thing that you're saying you were afraid of is exactly what happened to me. And, so, if it's gone well for you, then I'm glad. Discord is only good if you're in small, tight-knit servers. I mean, I'm only in, like, 5, not even that, servers on Discord. And, like, the only ones I read are the PCP Discord, which is just the PCP. And the Digibro Discord, which is for my patrons. And that one's pretty active. I'm usually in that once a day, at least. And then there's the I Am Games Discord, which I never post in, but I do check it. There's the PCP Fan Discord, which I never read at all. But I have it just in case I have to, like... Well, it used to be that we would go in there and ask for questions, but we don't do that anymore, so I haven't really looked at it at all for any reason. Except for when I get, like, tagged. I think that's it. I think those are the only 4 Discords that I am even in. Trying to think if there's a 5th one.
The bypass is done. Go. The hostage is almost out of time. Hurry.
Why is he taking so many hits? God. I made a huge mistake somehow.
Is MLP anything special in terms of animation? No. It is a Flash cartoon, but it looks way better than any other, like, just Flash puppet cartoon. There's a lot of unique expressions. The color palette's really good. The design work is really good. Though, like, most of the actual ponies are just, like, the same template. I wouldn't say it's special, but they definitely put a lot more effort into it than they had to. Like, that's what makes it great, you know?
I mean, one of the great things about the show, just to look as good as it does, is that all the characters have the same base. So they can just animate one base character really, really well, and then just swap the colors and the hair and stuff, and you have animations for all characters.
Yeah, and they clearly save everything so that they can use it again. So like any unique animation, you might see it more than once, but not in like an obvious or annoying way. Everything's vectors, so it's very easy to create different scenes. And like one of the most fun elements is the background characters, because there's this gigantic stable of background characters who recur and
fucking cunt.
are fan favorites.
I don't even know what happened.
If you were being timed or something.
That was a lot of time to waste for nothing. Fuck, I got nothing. No experience, no items, nothing. Just wasting my fucking time. Which is exactly the point of this game, so I can't complain. God. Can you imagine paying $60 or more to do this?
No. Z-Crust once, they were talking about my stance on dubs, and this guy said he didn't say dubs were always worse, they're just worse 98% of the time. Actually, if you rounded it up, it would be 100% of the time, but it would be like 99.99999% of the time the dub is worse.
Is the dub worse, or can you just not tell because you don't speak fluent
No,
Japanese?
don't fucking tell me this fucking bullshit. That is horse shit. First of all, I basically understand Japanese. And second of all, you have to be fucking retarded to not be able to tell if a voice performance is good or not.
I don't know, I'm pretty retarded.
I can tell if it's a non-actor playing a role in a show easily in Japanese. Like, the second I hear it, I'll be like, oh, that's a child, or that's a non-actor, or like, I recognize voice actors within like 3 sentences of them talking most of the time. Like, I know most of the Japanese actors by name. No, the Japanese voicing is always better with...
You can tell in a foreign language, too, if the dubbing sounds like shit.
Right, like have you ever listened to, like, Spanish MLP and all those old videos where, like, the dubs of other languages were just garbage? Just, like, overacted horse shit. Wow. I didn't think about what I was saying.
Exactly what you were saying. Oh. What if Devil May Cry 5 was already out? I was playing that instead. That'd be cool.
Why doesn't Farto wear the big coat? I don't know, man. He just follows his heart. Do you miss Skype? Funny how it kind of just insta died. No, I don't miss Skype slightly because it was fucking terrible.
Holy shit, what is happening? Every level inevitably boils down to there's tons of guys and there's no fucking...
Tom, any random object that shines will give you loot if you hit it.
Yeah, I know. But none of the loot's good, so I don't care. Why is this purple thing on my fucking neck? It's been here for tons of missions.
So, what is Tom playing as? Like, what the fuck even is a Warframe? Has that question been answered?
No. You're actually not called a Warframe, you're called a Tenna.
CM398 says a Warframe is a zombie golem thing. They're made out of the same thing the Infested are made out of.
I don't even know what the Infested are.
Warframes are psychically controlled by immortal children.
The
Pilot is locked behind a door in the ship that you can't open until you progress through the story.
Wow. That made this game 10 times gayer than it already was.
By the way, just to clarify, Tom is like 15 hours into this game. He's not like new to it. He's been playing this randomly all the time, just for the hell of it.
I'm either really bad at it, which
it's just mega confusing.
They just don't tell you anything. And there's just so much shit. I mean, the problem is that, like, there's, like, 30 updates built into this game now because it's been out for years. So, like, if you haven't been there from the beginning, There's a lot of shit that I'm probably just not aware of. That's a problem with playing these live service games. You know, you always run into that fucking problem.
Ox in a Box says, any non-endless mission is supposed to be speedrun. If the mission doesn't require you to keep your ground, just bomb it to the objective and get the fuck out.
Sounds so good. Just played Diablo 2. That was a fun game.
DG, what's your #1 favorite voice acting performance in anime? Oh, shit. Oh, fuck! That's a deep question. Oh, God. Fucking Hanakana and Sangatsu is really fucking good. And, of course, I love her as Akane in Psycho Pass. My outright favorite. I don't know. I've never really thought about it.
Why do sometimes I do that? And sometimes I do...
Like, I have a lot of favorite actresses and actors, but I don't know if I have individual favorite performances. Possibly Tomokazu Sugita as Gintoki from Gintama. That would definitely be on the list. All of the voice acting in fucking Sangatsu no Lion is absolutely fantastic. Guys, please, do not ask me what about this dub, what about that dub. They're all shit. Like, I don't like any of them. It doesn't matter. I understand that some are better than others, but it's like the level is just so low in general. It's like the only dubs that I've heard that I find that tolerable are like Disney dubs of Miyazaki films. And in those cases, a lot of the Miyazaki films have weird voice acting anyways in the Japanese version, where like they hire a lot of non-actors and shit. But like, I fucking cannot stand English dubs in general. I think all the dub actors are fucking terrible hacks. And it's not that I don't love English voice acting, because like, if you throw on like Venture Bros or Rick and Morty or something, it's like some of my favorite voice acting ever is in those shows. But like, that's usually the people who wrote the show literally voicing their own material and doing a phenomenal job of it.
Because anime voice acting is like backwards.
Right.
So you're not going to get a natural voice performance.
Not to mention the writing is usually dog shit in the dub scripts too. Like,
the localization attempts.
It's the lack of localization attempts usually. Like, a lot of the times they just, like, a lot of stuff just ends up being nonsense because they don't figure out how to make it sound right in English.
These blue things. I don't know. They never told me.
When did Gintama, what episode or arc, become a favorite for you? It's hard to say. I mean, like, I was introduced to Gintama through later episodes that my friend Donson just showed me randomly. So, like, I had already been exposed to the idea that the show is hilarious. And I definitely think that, like, the early episodes are not as funny as some of the ones that come later. Not that I think they're bad, just that, like, it takes a little while for it to really pick up. Because the show gets fucking insane. Like, the early episodes are more like, hey, we've got this funny premise for a gag comedy show. Let's do some fun episodes and ideas. But then, like, it really becomes insanely metatextual and just, like, goes totally off the fucking rails. And that's when it gets really funny. And then when it does serious arcs, those are usually incredibly badass too. So, like, it's not so much that any one episode or arc made it a favorite. It was just the culmination of so many great episodes and arcs over the course of the show. Disney just hired celebrities instead of good or fitting actors. I think they picked good and fitting actors who are celebrities. Like you're not gonna tell me that like Liam Neeson is not a good actor. Oh Jesus, I accidentally fucking minimized everything.
Jesus fucking Christ. Jesus fucking Christ.
Did we watch The Kingdom of Dreams and Madness? We did, right? That was the Ghibli documentary we watched, right? Yeah. Okay. You can use skill.
I don't have any skills except for this dash slash so far. I don't unlock any of them. Fuck. Oh, my brain is melting.
Digi, what's better, Boondocks or Black Dynamite? Boondocks. I haven't really watched much Black Dynamite though, but Boondocks is one of my favorite shows. Thoughts on Venture Bros? It's fucking great. You should all watch it. Tom, you're level 12, you must have more skills.
I don't. Oh boy, here we go.
What older trends in anime are you happy that died? I don't know if there's any trends that have really died. I feel like we get less shows with shitty endings nowadays. Definitely a lot less like anime original endings, which were a huge problem in the 2000s. Apparently you can insta-kill stuff with your skill. And you have to look at the controls to figure out how to switch your selected skill.
Okay.
What about Yu Yu Hakusho dub? You literally said it was good in your video about it. Don't you just love Hiei saying, "You fool"? Yeah, Yu Yu Hakusho's got a fine dub. I enjoyed it.
The bypass is done. Go.
Like I said, there are a few. I listed them all in that video. It was like I put on screen the 5 shows that I prefer dubbed. It was like Yu Yu Hakusho, Dragon Ball, Kodocha, which I haven't even tried subbed, so it might even be better subbed. I just haven't tried. Ponyo, and which Ponyo I also still have not watched subbed. I just happened to have watched it dubbed every time because like I just want to be able to see all the shit going on. And you wait, did I already say Yu Yu Hakusho? Yu Yu Hakusho, Dragon Ball, Kodocha, Ponyo, and Garzy's Wing. And that's it. No more.
Oh my god.
I have seen Big O both dubbed and subbed.
This is the jail. Our hostage is in one of these cells.
What's the most number of times you've watched Ponyo in a week? Either probably just 2. I don't think I've watched it more than twice in the same week.
Oh, I don't want to give him my
I
secondary
have seen it
weapon.
like 5 or 6 times.
That's what I use for everything. Oh, this is the worst mission.
Dragon Ball dub isn't even good, it's just that the original Japanese is even worse. Agreed.
Why does Goku sound like that?
I have watched I Want to Eat Your Pancreas. I did a finish or fail on. It was one of the worst shows I saw last year. It was fucking terrible.
If you can just teleport.
Have you ever regretted watching a show? If so, which show do you regret finishing the most? I mean, it's hard to say because I do like when I watch really bad shows getting the chance to shit on them. Fully Coolly Progressive was probably the hardest show to finish that I've ever finished.
There's only 6 episodes.
It was somehow harder than Steins Gate Zero, and that was really difficult. But, well, I don't know. I don't know if that's true, because Steins Gate was so fucking long. Shinsekai Yori was also really fucking hard to watch all of. That one I was like really getting checked out and like having to like do other things to like we had to switch to the dub so I could like pay less attention to it while watching it just so I could fucking finish it. Oh Jesus Christ, Shinsekai Yori was so fucking bad. But Fully Coolly Progressive was like a fucking waking nightmare. I don't know, anything I've given a 1 to. CM398 says, I once jacked off for about 6 hours straight, 1 cum per hour. That's impressive.
Madman.
Jacking off more than 4 times a day will leave you with self-hatred and being too unmotivated to hate yourself. I've done more than that. I've jacked off 10 times in the same day before.
Damn.
Do you remember? I'm sure I've brought this up in places, but do you watch Venture Bros?
Seen a bit of it, yeah.
There's an episode where do you remember the Sphinx organization at all?
Vaguely.
It's like Brock Sampson's like boss, like his coach, creates this organization called Sphinx, and he's explaining how they don't keep anything from each other. They all know everything about each other, and he has his men like rattle off secrets one after another. And Brock Sampson goes, "I once jacked off 12 times in one day just to see if I could," and I took that as a personal challenge. Never could do it though. Never reached 12.
God,
it's not easy. It becomes a chore after 6.
I just want to make cool weapons.
Miaverse is now hosting you for up to 23 viewers. Sick.
Yeah, thanks, dude.
Don't know who that is. But thank you.
Alright, I can't use my taxon yet. It's going to take another 23 hours, 19 minutes, and 14 seconds before I can use the thing I paid money for. I love you, video game.
We need the sound bite of Ben saying, "I just want to jack off all day" as the sub sound. I don't know when he said that or where. Have you ever jerked off for so long that you feel like it's not even worth it anymore? I have. I've just given up a couple times. Has a show ever changed your mind about a trend in anime or a genre? I don't know. I don't really pay attention to things in those terms of like trends and genres. Tell them go to the back to get their thing on your neck gone.
Oh, I didn't realize this door had opened up. That looks bad.
Disgusting, is it not, operator? Or just would enjoy purging this.
Miaverse says, I'm just a rando variety streamer running a small community with my fiance. Well, thanks for the hosting. Sorry that you're hosting us talking about masturbation continuously. How much y'all making on Twitch? Depends on how many people subscribe. We usually get like probably 5 subscribers a stream or so. Almost always the same people. So like $25 a stream, which adds up to like, well, I won't even say it's consistently that many. It's like 3 to 5.
I mean,
sometimes it's none.
Last month, I think the money ended up being like $60 a piece.
Yeah.
Enough to cover one game.
Right, and that was the earnings from like November, so it's hard to say what it would be now.
Yeah.
Because Twitch pays us like 3 months fucking late for like we got, last month was the first time we actually got, well, not last month, but January was the first time we actually got a payout. And that was for everything up through a certain point, because you have to make $100 before they send anything. So we had made like $60 the first month or something like that, and then the second month we got, so we got like everything from those 2 months combined in January, and then the next month we got in February. So it's possible that we'll make more in the coming months. I don't know. I don't know what the trend has really been, but generally, it seems like we just get the same people resubscribing every month with maybe 1 or 2 new people.
Are these the skills that I have? Because I use /dash all the time. I've never used Exalted Blade. None of these other ones I don't even understand what is going on. Fuck.
Only full-blown partners get consistent pay. Affiliates get weird every other 1.5 months pay system. We are partners. We are full-blown Twitch partners. Ninja Jeff says, I literally cannot imagine how sex could possibly feel better than playing as Virgil in DMC4. Like, there is no way that's the case.
Man, I need to get DMC4 Special Edition.
When are you gonna do it, dog? It can't even be more than $20 now.
I know.
I'm shocked you haven't.
I know. It's because Devil May Cry 4 was just already so good. It wasn't like Devil May Cry DMC where it ran like shit on console, so there's a reason to get
You can use the D-pad to select a skill. Tom, you absolutely need DM4 Special Edition in your life.
I know I do.
You have to do it, Tom. You need it.
Okay. Yes, Dad.
Virgil will probably be a playable character in DMC5.
Yeah, that seems very, very likely. I'm using D-pad. Nothing's happening.
I'll pad your D.
Please do.
Your 1 is shit, 2 stuns enemies around, it allows your finishers on enemies, 3 is also shit, and 4 is the anime energy blade shit. That feel when you have dreams about DMC5.
Well, I'm not alone on that. Yeah.
Stumble Reel says, I'm so very cold. You bleeding out, dog? So you guys going to wait to buy DMC5 or Sekiro on the off chance that they turn out to be bad? Yeah, right. Tom's going to be buying DMC5 like the second it is available to him.
Yeah.
And probably streaming it right away. As for Sekiro, I will probably not buy it day one, but like I'm sure there will be reviews before it comes out, so I don't know, maybe I will.
I don't. None of these do anything. There's nothing here.
You use the D-pad when on missions, not on the ship.
Then how do I use... I hate it. I hate how this game makes no sense.
Worst pain you've ever felt in your life?
Every time my leg pops. I don't know if you've noticed, I've like collapsed a few times from leg pain.
I did not notice.
Yeah.
That's intense.
It's at the point right now where like if I move, if I bend too much, it feels like an artery or like a nerve or something in my leg pops, and then acid spreads through all the nerves and veins, and it goes all the way through my leg, and then I just kind of scream and try not to die, and then fall over, and then for like the next 3 hours.
I probably just assume that that's you dying in Neo and throwing a controller if I hear it.
This is the first time I've played Neo in like a week was today, so every other time was not Neo. I can go to Ishtar now. Hooray.
Which reviewers do you guys actually trust, though? None.
I mean, I kind of just try and get a general idea of what the consensus is by listening to a bunch of different people, but if I'm interested in something, no bad review would get me to not try it.
I mean, if I see that a game is getting, like, every single score is above a 9, I'm gonna probably be confident that it's probably okay.
Red Dead Redemption, our favorite game of all time.
There's a lot of... Well, that didn't consistently get above a 9.
Yeah, it did. Red Dead Redemption.
Oh, the first one?
Yeah. Even the second one. They both got, like, insane scores.
Yeah, but not from the people who I follow. Like, it was a lot more tumultuous. Like, I heard a lot of people saying that it was, like, a pile of shit, you know? With Red Dead 2, at least. I didn't really see any critics for the first game. But, like, for me, like, there's no critic who I would trust to represent my taste, but there's a lot of critics who I trust to give me enough information about the game that I could make an informed decision. Like, if I watch a Super Bunny Hop video, I trust him to go into a lot of depth and explore the game to the fullest and represent it well.
Is not changing skills at all.
Labid Lincoln subscribed at tier 1.
Hell yeah.
Is it hard for Tome to poop now?
Pooping itself is fine. Getting there, like getting to the bathroom, is a gauntlet.
What's the best pleasure you felt in your life?
Fuck. It's so few and far between, I have to think about it.
It's alright, Tome. It's almost Friday. The suffering will end soon.
True.
Do you still watch Zero Punctuation? I haven't been. I would, I just haven't been. Tom, do you like DMC4?
I do.
Go watch our DMC video, man.
I was thinking about it, and I think I prefer playing DMC4 to DMC3. And I know that's sacrilegious, but I just like Nero's gameplay so much.
I think Gaming Brit has made the case that like DMC4 has the best combat. It's just got other issues.
Yeah, like the campaign is not great, but it's super fun to play. What is happening? Why am I gonna not be gay?
Hold the button you use to cast skills. That should open the menu to select the skill you want. At the very least,
skills?
That's how it is playing on PC with a controller.
Oh, these then? Well, I just did something cool.
Are these they?
Need more energy. Radial blind. Need more energy. I didn't even know I had energy.
Skyward Sword got consistent 10 out of 10s. Dark Souls 2 has a higher average score than Dark Souls 1. Don't trust review scores. But like I said, I'm not talking about just like... I'm not just looking at random scores. I'm looking at like the opinions of a select amount of review. Like, Matthew Matosis tore fucking Dark Souls 2 an asshole. I generally trust him So to me, it's like from my perspective, Dark Souls 2 got pretty middling reviews. You know, in terms of who do I pay to. Same with Skyward Sword. He also ripped that game pretty hard. So like, reviewers I trust do not like these games. Matthew Matosis or Joseph Anderson. Dude, Joseph Anderson is not even in the same realm as Matthew Matosis. He's not even close. I'm sick of fucking... I'm honestly, like, really pissed off that I cannot mention Matthew Matosis publicly without somebody fucking bringing up Joseph Anderson. Like, even if I thought that he was pretty good, which, I mean, he might be fine. I haven't watched any of his videos in a long time, but, like, just, I don't understand why... Just because they both make long video game analysis, they have to be mentioned fucking in the same breath every single time. Real talk, should I sub to IM Games or buy another rant from Digi? Do both, but the Tom needs the money more than I do.
Very true.
The disparity in quality between Matthew Matosis and Joseph Anderson is evident when you compare their Fury reviews. I'll have to check that out. But I mean, to me, I find Joseph Anderson really boring and hard to watch. And I want to try and give him another shot because I realized he follows me on Twitter. So I feel bad about shitting on him all the time. But,
he's just taking notes, getting ready to take you down.
Yeah. But Matthew Matosis is like my favorite. He's like my favorite active reviewer on YouTube. So, like, to me, it's like, you know, it's like if you were comparing me to like Gigguk or something. It's like, yeah, Gigguk's fine, but he's not fucking Digi, bro. You know? He said completely unironically. With absolute conceit. What do you think of Warframe so far? Personally, I'm not a big fan of it.
It's a 5. Solid 5. I'm just not a fan of these kinds of games in general. Why is this guy?
Do you think criticism that Dark Souls 3 lacks original ideas is valid? Sure, if you care about that. I mean, I don't look at like artistic pieces in terms of their place in history so much of just, is it good right now? And like, if you just compare Dark Souls 3 to Dark Souls 1 in a void, don't worry about which came first, I would say Dark Souls 3 has a lot of advantages, you know? I don't know if I'd necessarily say it's better because they both have advantages, but like, you know, I don't care about them in the context of which came first. Slightest Ediblia subscribed at tier 1. Shout out.
Good God. What's happening?
Who likes Skyward Sword except for the combat? Definitely not Matthew Matosis. He shit on a lot of stuff about that game.
There's nothing good about that game except for maybe the art style. This is madness. This whole game is fucking madness. Jesus Christ.
Have you heard of the channel No Clip? Pretty high quality game. I have not. Shoot me a link on the Discord to your favorite one. FromSoft has always been a very repetitive developer. Most of the Armored Core games have exactly the same gameplay. I mean, it's just iterating. It's taking it and saying, can we do this better? Can we do this, like, will it, or just even slightly different in a way that...
Oh, fuck, my battery's dead!
...is unique.
No!
Well, we're at 225 somehow. I wasn't paying attention to the time. Shall we go ahead and stop?
I guess we have no choice. We only have one controller up here.
Well, see you later, everybody. After a while.
Be the games you want to see. Be the controllers you want charged.